Hi Dave, there have been reports in the British media that you've been quote-unquote plagued by indifferent form in the last few days. Any comments on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been about 2 months now. I wouldn't go as far as calling it a plague. It's been horrible. I've never spent as long feeling terrible on the bike, so it's not been the best build-up. But last week, I mean, I got a chance to rest up a bit after Dauphiné, and I've had a lot of help from Matt Parker at British Cycling, who's with his track experience and training knowledge regards tapering for these sort of events. He's been a great help, and I hope it's turned me around a bit, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow now. I'm a bit nervous, a lot nervous, but I'm looking forward to it.
Have you been able to put down to a specific problem or a cause for the problems with fitness, and how will that affect perhaps the result tomorrow? What do you expect tomorrow?
To be honest, it's been very hard to pinpoint it. It's one of these, I guess that's one of the banes of being an athlete. Sometimes it just doesn't go right, and you can spend weeks dilly-daddling doing tests and trying to find out what's wrong. But I think a lot of it was just down to fatigue, and perhaps I came back from an injury in May, which I think I may have just been too scared about the tour approaching and overdone it, and basically overloaded myself in training, and then with the racing and accumulation of everything, and perhaps also the psychological. I might have just been terrified, and it might just have been all going a bit wrong. I mean, because there's no doubt that I've been underperforming, and I really can't pinpoint it. I mean, the big thing is that I performed at the Tour de France, and that way the last 2 months I can forget about.
So Dave, how do you think that'll affect tomorrow? What do you expect as a result-wise? I know it's difficult.
I mean, I don't know how that's going to affect tomorrow. I won't know until afterwards, if you like. What it does affect, it affects my confidence, if you like, a bit going into it. I'm not as confident as I usually would be. In fact, I kind of riddled a bit with self-doubt, which is quite rare for me. And so I'm hoping that just with my experience over the years that I can kind of manage that. And that, I guess that's the only thing that's going to affect my performance, is the absolute kind of the abyss I'm going into. I really couldn't predict what I'm going to do, and I don't even want to enter into predictions at all, and that's a bit disconcerting, I've got to be honest.
Dave, there's been a lot of talk about whether people can actually get onto the prologue circuit to see it, not see it. Are you going to be able to ride around it before the actual big event?
I think for once the Brits have got a real home advantage in that we've had a chance to see it. I mean, me and Brad have at different times in the year have gone and checked it out. So, to be honest, I think it's perfectly fair. So we've got a bit of an advantage, but I think, I mean, this helps the other guys. I mean, from being one of the few people that's actually ridden around it, to put all the other guys' minds at ease, it isn't very technical at all, and I doubt there's even braking in any corners, maybe one corner, so it's not going to be a course that requires really a lot of reconnaissance runs, and although it's not going to be there's hardly even a corner where you could lose the prologue, really. I mean, it's not that sort of thing where it's going to be won by your cornering. So in that respect, I don't think it's going to be a big deal.
Dave, Brad was saying that he checked the course at 3 a.m. one morning. I was just wondering when you actually rode the course.
I rode it about 3 months ago, one afternoon with my sister first, but that was a bit hard because we were dodging people along the Serpentine. So I was back in the UK about 2 weeks ago, and then I went out I went out at 7 in the morning, which isn't quite as good as Brad, is it? But I was pretty proud with that. And I got a few laps in and got a good opportunity to see it. And so yeah, not 3, but 7.
Can it be said Vinokour's relationship with work and training relationship with Dr. Ferrari, is that a concern for cycling, or is that something that we should give the benefit of the doubt straight away?
I think as sportsmen we have to always give the benefit of the doubt. I mean, that's part of it. And of course it's very hard in this environment, and of course with Ferrari's history, obviously there's a cloud over him. But I'm always going to give the benefit of the doubt, and I always will. The first thing, I just want to publicly give my support to one of our riders, Leo Piepoli, who is going through a horrific time at the moment, and who is a rider that I, for one, have such a huge amount of respect for and trust as a cyclist. And I just think it's very sad what he's having to experience at the moment. And Pataki, because I think both of them are great riders who are, at the moment, undeservedly being punished. So I just wanted to say that. Now, on a good note, you'll notice our jerseys at the Tour de France have this little logo here. This is one of Mauro Gianetti's projects, and my hat goes off to Mauro, who, yeah, well, it's a team project, but it's actually Mauro who has put hundreds of hours, I think, of work into this. It's a project that the team we are aiming to have 1 million trees planted in Mali this year, as a representation of 100 years of Sonia Duval's existence. Now, we'll have this logo on the jersey of the Tour de France, and we're trying to get this out there a bit more, because I think Mauro can explain it a bit more, but it really is something quite special and a bit different, and something that's rarely done, I think.